it's Lo.
Hi, I'm Hayleigh.
And we are Wrestling Winedown. On this week's episode, we're going to be covering the best matches and moments.
We'll also be talking about the word on the street. We know you saw that Jon Moxley video.
Oh, I know we did. And finally, our question of the week.
So grab your glass of wine.
We're going in for the 3 count. Let's kick it off with our top 10 moments and matches of the week. Of course, we have to start it off with the Firefly Funhouse. Bray Wyatt is WWE's Bob Ross, and I stan.
What a segment. I don't know where this is going to go, but I hope it stays as good as it is now. So this week he talked about sociopaths.
Word of the day.
Did you know anything about sociopaths before Bray Wyatt taught us?
I did know a little bit, but of course Bray Wyatt definitely piqued my interest.
He just laid it out. Everything makes sense now.
I think he would be great at a Pinot's palette. Just get him like a glass of wine, some type of painting. Obviously, he can make his own.
I can imagine it would be like a beautiful sunset picture.
I know you saw that house, right? It was on fire.
And then he would make it on fire.
I can't. I think Bray Wyatt is doing a really good job at this persona. I know it's only been 2 weeks, but I think all of us are kind of like on pins and needles about where this is going to go next because, as I mentioned last week, it could go bad really, really fast, and I definitely don't want that for him. This is such an exciting segment that we've seen so far, and I'm looking forward to the rest of it.
I mean, it's a bizarre idea that he came up with, so I don't think we can even predict what he's going to do next.
Right.
It kind of reminds me, like, on the weirdness level of when he would be in the ring and he would do his back bends while, like, holding on to the ropes. I remember the first time I saw that, and I had to pause it, I had to go back, I had to rewatch it, and I was like, oh, what is happening?
I was talking about earlier that a lot of people on Twitter are asking, well, why isn't Bo involved in this? And Bo Dallas is a part of the B team, who is a part of the SmackDown roster. I think it would be so interesting if WWE were to bring Bo into this. I feel like it could be a modern-day Brothers of Destruction. You know, you had Kane and Undertaker. They were both scary, but they were even scarier together. Bo comes across as like this goody guy, but I swear, I think that they could definitely make like a Brothers of Destruction 2.0 with them. It would be so interesting. Could you imagine?
I definitely could imagine that because WWE has been making such a big deal out of brother tag teams, such as the Usos and the Hardy Boys. I remember a couple weeks ago they mentioned, like, who's the better brothers out of the
Those
tag
two,
team.
yeah.
And so I could see another brother team coming in here.
And I think they would definitely make a great addition to the Hill tag teams. Let's hop into another moment. What match did you enjoy this week?
The match I enjoyed this week had to do with another set of brothers.
Oh, okay.
And it was on 205 Live, which kind of shocked me because, as I've told you before, 205 Live is not my favorite brand.
I can agree with that. I think they have amazing talent. They just don't really know what to do with them.
Yeah, I feel like since they are at 205 Live, they're kind of stuck. There's nowhere that they can really go unless it is Raw or SmackDown, which rarely happens. But like I was saying, one of my favorite matches this week were actually the Singh brothers. So they came out, and it was really funny because they said that they were the only undefeated team on 205 Live. And everyone was like, huh? But the reason they were the only undefeated team on 205 Live is because they only fought on 205 Live once. So does it count?
Absolutely not.
I thought
to them it might, to us not.
So the announcers during this whole match were bringing up like past things that they've done, such as they've been in the ring with like huge wrestlers.
Mm-hmm.
Like they haven't been stuck on 205 Live like some of these other wrestlers who maybe haven't been able to, you know, show all of their skills. But the Singh brothers have been in the ring with Roman Reigns, Randy Orton.
Have they won? Okay.
They got the experience, though. See, that's the point. They got the experience. And they obviously worked with Jinder Mahal. So they kind of have the upper hand there. So I'm excited to see, like, what they do in 205 Live. Solo, what match did you look forward to this week?
I really liked a lot of the segments this week. I don't know why, but that's just what I was feeling. We saw Becky Lynch on Monday Night Raw. in an interview segment with Charlie Caruso talking about why she's defending both the Raw and SmackDown titles at Money in the Bank. And she told it simply, I'm Becky 2 titles. Like, I can defend the titles wherever I want and whichever ones I want to defend. Lacey Evans comes out and she talks a little bit of smack with her sassy self and they start brawling. This was a moment that I really liked because it wasn't a match. You had Becky talking beforehand and, asserting her dominance, which she doesn't really need to. She has both titles. And then for Lacey Evans to interfere and try and show her dominance, I'm really looking forward to this match at Money in the Bank. Lacey Evans is a strong competitor. We've seen her in NXT. We've seen her a couple times here and there on the main roster, but her first title defense is against someone that holds both titles. This is just going to be great.
I wonder how she's staying warmed up all this time. Like, is she going to go out there and be ready for this match?
Lacey Evans stays ready. That's what it seems like.
Okay, you're right. Becky sure has been busy lately. Holding these 2 titles isn't easy on her. She's fighting both nights back to back. I feel like eventually Becky's going to break down a little bit, but she did not break down during her fight on SmackDown with Bayley. This match, it was good. So Bayley didn't come out as strong as she normally does, and like we've talked about in previous weeks, we think she's turning heel.
Mm-hmm. It's the ponytail.
It's the ponytail, the side ponytail.
I'm telling you.
But this week she wasn't herself.
She probably misses Sasha. I know I do.
Oh.
This match was interesting because they put a commercial break in the middle of the match. And online, you saw what was going on during the commercial break. And I honestly am not a fan of the commercial break and how WWE does them. I know that's how they make their money, but that's such a great time to put a commercial break right in the middle of a match. And you know how they do these commercials on the side of the screen?
I hate
that irks me too. It's like, we want to watch the match on the full screen that we purchased. We don't want to watch a Snickers ad in the match. Like, what's the point?
Like, you're watching the match and then it's like, KFC has their specials
I
this
know.
week. And I'm like, I don't care. I want to watch this match. After Bayley tapped out of this match, Charlotte Flair ran in. Becky Lynch needs to watch her back. I don't know why she isn't expecting people to just kick her, punch her, give her the woman's right. I don't know. I feel like it's happened week after week, and she needs to be like, oh, who's behind me?
She needs
Watch
eyes.
out.
Yeah, she needs eyes on the back of her head. Mm-hmm. Like, her head needs to be on a swivel. It's hard being champ. Could you imagine holding 2 championships? That girl must be stressed, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Hella stressed. Another segment that I was very delighted to see this week was the return of the KO show. Kevin Owens obviously turned heel. Unfortunately, he ripped off his crop top and he attacked Kofi Kingston. And now he's coming for that WWE Championship at Money in the Bank. So during this segment, Owens pretty much talked down to Kingston, telling him that he is over his head. Like, he's done with that championship. It is KOs that led to some disagreement, some right hands thrown, whatever. This match is building up to be a really good match. And I like the tension that they're adding because they turned Kevin Owens heel way before we thought, he would. And now we're kind of seeing where the road goes. We thought that he was going to be the good guy for a couple months, and that lasted, 2 weeks?
Yeah, 2 weeks. But the part that irritates me about this is at the beginning of SmackDown, Michael Cole came out and was talking to Kofi and congratulating him. But also in this, he was basically asking why Kofi wasn't expecting Owens to turn on him and how Kofi should have been ready for Owens to turn heel so fast.
I mean, I know I just said that we didn't expect Kevin Owens to turn heel, but it's the WWE. I feel like we never expect someone to turn heel. It's very rare that it's predictable. Yeah. Like, we're never, like, for instance, Big E at WrestleMania, we thought that he would turn heel either at WrestleMania, right after, or before. Like, we had a good time frame, but it never happened. You know why? Because WWE went on their Twitter, they probably went to their mentions, and they saw everyone saying, are you going to turn Big E heel? And they're like, nope, we're not.
I mean, KO put on a crop top. Why wouldn't you trust him after that?
I mean, I feel you there, sis, but it's going to be a great match. I'm looking forward to it. We'll see if Xavier Woods gets involved and who else gets involved.
I mean, Xavier did try to get involved and Kofi shut that down.
Yeah.
He was like, bro, I got this.
So maybe he won't get involved. I mean, we'll just have to watch, right?
We will.
Another segment that was very interesting this week based on the WWE climate right now is Sami Zayn, who talked about psychological entitlement. We have someone talking about a sociopath, and we have someone talking about psychological entitlement. What a show. They actually wrestle too, right? It was interesting that Sami said this during his promo. He said that someone said, if you don't like being in the WWE, why don't you just quit? And he said, while that might be enjoyable, it wouldn't bring him the same joy he gets week after week by coming out to the ring and crapping on the fans in every city that he goes to. Like I said, I love seeing Sami Zayn on the mic, and he does a sensational job at riling the fans up based on just stuff that he's saying. But I want to see this man with a title. I know he hasn't been back for that long, but a title shot. I know he had it his first night, but can we please get this man a title shot? He's just talking too much now. I feel like Sami Zayn comes out and he needs someone to talk to, and the people listen, and then he gets pissed at them for listening. Like, how dare you?
Yeah, he knows how to get a reaction. He knows how to make people mad, and he knows what will really irritate them. Like calling them all entitled. A huge debut on NXT this week. Kushida is now on the roster. He came out so strong, and his match was actually really good. I'm excited to see where this goes. There was blood, there were elbows being thrown. It wasn't gentle wrestling. It was like actual wrestling that people want to see on NXT and all of WWE.
When Kushida was announced that he signed to WWE, Twitter almost broke. People were so excited to finally have him in WWE, and I can see why they were excited. Unfortunately, I haven't followed his career prior to him signing to WWE, but based on this match with Cassius Ohno, I would definitely go back and watch his older matches that he's had, because clearly he knows how to throw down.
Yeah, wrestlers are going to be scared of him. I'm looking forward to see who's going to step up and want to compete with him next after seeing how this match went.
The Miz hosted MITB this week, always a great watch. Had Bobby Lashley on the show. Bobby Lashley comes out without Lio Rush, which is another story. We got that for you on the Word of the Street. But anyway, Bobby Lashley came out, threw shade at the George Mizanian, and The Miz was pissed. I don't blame him. They start off in a match. Bobby Lashley ends up getting the pinfall victory, and then out of nowhere, here comes Shane McMahon. No, he did not jump off of anything, but he kicked The Miz's.
So what irritates me most about this is Shane keeps doing this and it makes him look so weak. The only way he's winning is when he accidentally wins at WrestleMania, or he comes out after Bobby Lashley already fought The Miz and The Miz is on the ground, and then Shane comes out and fights him, and of course he's going to win. The Miz just went through a match.
There isn't going to be any mistake about who wins, or, how did Shane get this victory, or how did The Miz get this victory when they face off at Money in the Bank in a steel cage match. So either Shane needs to jump off the steel cage and onto the floor outside, or he needs to jump off the steel cage and land on The Miz and get a pinfall victory. There's absolutely no other way that he can win.
He has to jump, that's for sure.
Speaking of Money in the Bank, Alexa Bliss came out and announced who will be competing in the men's and women's Money in the Bank ladder matches.
The men participating in the Money in the Bank ladder match from Raw include Braun Strowman, Ricochet, Drew McIntyre, and Baron Corbin. And then on SmackDown, they announced Finn Balor, Ali, Andrade, and Randy Orton.
And on the women's side, Alexa Bliss announced for the Raw brand that Natalya, Dana Brooke, Naomi, and Little Miss Bliss herself would be participating in the Money in the Bank ladder match, while Carmella, Bayley, Ember Moon, and Mandy Rose will be representing the SmackDown brand. How are you feeling about these matches?
I'm super excited for both of these matches. For the men's, I think that there are some really strong competitors in here. There's also some that, I don't expect to do as well as, maybe Braun Strowman and Drew McIntyre. I think that how they built this match up will be really interesting to watch because, quite honestly, I don't know who's going to win. I can guess who's going to win, but I don't know for sure, who the definite winner is.
For this match, for the men's match specifically, I'm a little bit disappointed with the lineup for it. We've seen Braun Strowman and we've seen Baron Corbin successfully lose their Money in the Bank shots. They've won the match, but they can't successfully gain a championship. So for me, that was a little bit weird that they're back in the match. I'm looking forward to Ricochet participating in his first Money in the Bank ladder match. That's a good sign. But I don't know. I'm just not feeling it. Like, for the Raw side, like, it's not what I expected. Now, for the SmackDown side, I think it's great that they're adding Ali, adding Andrade. I think SmackDown did a better job at picking their participants for this match.
It is Ali and Andrade's first time that they're going to be in this ladder match.
I honestly feel like Baron Corbin just needs to stick to breadsticks and unlimited pasta bowls and, not climb to the top of the ladder again.
The one that I'm kind of upset that they put in here, which, I knew they were going to put him in here, is Braun Strowman. He's bigger than all of them, so he has a size advantage.
Drew is one of the larger competitors in the match as well, and, Olive Garden Man is also a bigger competitor. But
they're not Braun Strowman size, and especially Ricochet. He looks like, did you see that meme?
Yes.
Where it was like this little cat riding the dog, and it was like Braun Strowman and Ricochet teaming up. That is what they look like.
I know that Ricochet is definitely smaller than his other competitors in the match, but I bet you anything that he's going to go in there and he's going to kick all their asses.
Yeah, I think he is going to surprise us all, but we'll see.
And then women's match. Yes, 2 weeks. And then the women's match. That's how I feel. Like, just shrug your shoulders. I think it's great that they're putting Ember Moon and Naomi in the match. I didn't really expect Dana Brooke to be in the match. I think she's been getting really good responses. When she came out for WrestleMania, she got cheers. She's one hell of a competitor. She definitely is not booked right. Maybe this is her turning point. Maybe.
I agree with you on that, because the only competitors in this that really fight on like a weekly basis are Naomi and Bayley. The rest we haven't seen for a while. So, I'm interested to see who's going to win this, how they're going to do this, and what the winner, because I hope that the winner is not going to be Bayley or Naomi. I hope that they're going to give it to someone who doesn't have as many matches.
Well, I definitely don't want Carmella to win. I love Carmella as a competitor, and I said before that I feel like she needs to break away from R-Truth, which I feel like she's starting to, but I don't feel like this is her moment. She's won Money in the Bank before. We need someone new, but please don't let it be Mandy Rose. Sonya Deville should be in Mandy Rose's spot. I will fight on my word. Mandy Rose should not be in this match. Sonya Deville deserves to be in this match, and that's the tea and the wine.
Even though we're not super excited about how they line this up, I still am looking forward to seeing how this goes down.
I'm also looking forward to this match as well. I feel like a lot of the women in this match are very great when it comes to height, so I'm looking forward to seeing the amazing things that they do.
There are some other great matches on this card and a lot of championships up for grabs, such as Seth Rollins versus AJ Styles for the Universal Championship, Kofi Kingston versus Kevin Owens for the WWE Championship, Becky Lynch versus Lacey Evans for the Raw Women's Championship, Becky Lynch versus Charlotte Flair for the SmackDown Women's Championship, Roman Reigns versus Elias, and Shane McMahon versus The Miz in a steel cage match.
Let's get into our Word on the Street segment. A lot of WWE superstars are finding themselves between a rock and a hard place when it comes to their contracts. We've heard about the revival in their contract situation, but they were recently granted a $500,000 per year, 5-year deal, and they reportedly turned it down. It's also being reported by Bodyslam.net that WWE has extended Dash Wilder's contract by 2 months since he was injured back in 2017. He broke his jaw, so he missed 2 months. So that's why they're adding 2 months to his contract. We saw the same clause enacted for Luke Harper, which I think is a load of Another superstar who is interestingly speaking out on his contract is Lio Rush. Supposedly he has some backstage heat, which he mentioned to Fightful. Now he's saying that he doesn't have an issue with Bobby Lashley, but he does have an issue with how much he's getting paid. So PW Insider reports that Rush was offered around $300,000 per year to stay with the company, and he declined that amount, and he wants double that request. He also issued a statement earlier this week, which had me floored, honestly. He said, quote unquote, "My issue is the fact that I haven't been on meet and greets with Bobby Lashley, haven't been getting paid for merchandise for us that have my catchphrases on them. I've been sent to live shows and TVs, forced to pay for my own rental for 5 days as well as hotel while not making enough money to do so, walking around broke in the biggest sports entertainment industry that there is while having 2 kids and a wife to support." How do you feel about that? Because, boy,
I mean, this is a great example of know your worth and double it.
Right.
But Yeah, that is so infuriating. WWE has money to give these wrestlers, and the fact that they're making him pay for his own stuff, making him support his family on not enough to make him spend his own money on travel and things like that. Like, this makes me so mad. This is why so many wrestlers are moving to other brands.
Right. I thought it was interesting that Lio Rush was so open about this. I think a lot of WWE superstars, when they have these issues and, whatever goes on behind the scenes, they really don't get on Twitter. They don't go to a wrestling website, and they don't share this information because they know that they're under contract. There's repercussions for saying this stuff, and I can't even imagine, what WWE is going to think of this, because it makes them look like a bad company. And a lot of the stuff that is going on, with Luke Harper, with the Revival, with all of their different contract disputes that have been going on over the past year, I think it's just interesting as a fan to really see how these superstars are being treated. And you wonder, how many other superstars are being treated the same exact way? And how long have they been putting up with it just so that they're able to live their dream and be a professional wrestler in the top wrestling company?
That's a really good point. And I know a lot of wrestlers won't want to come out and be like, oh, WWE sucks, I'm not getting paid, because they don't want to get fired. So I'm happy that he came out and let everyone know, and maybe it'll let other wrestlers speak up as well.
Another wrestler that has known his worth and realized that he's not happy in his spot with the WWE was Dean Ambrose. Jon Moxley, which is Dean Ambrose's alter ego on the indie scene, posted this video on Twitter. Dean Ambrose doesn't use Twitter, so we're like, what's going on? It shows Dean essentially breaking out of a jail, being chased by a big dog, and I've seen a lot of ideas come from the videos, which I can see myself. You see the dice in the video, which have the 2 and the 5, and people are like, AEW, he's going to AEW.
Yeah, because of May 25th, when All or Nothing comes to Vegas.
Yes. And then you have other things that are like, people are just, they're doing too much. I feel like at some point you just got to watch the video and just be like, okay, whatever's supposed to be seen will come to light.
Right.
You don't need to go through second by second by second by second and kind of dissect it. Because I bet you John or Dean or whatever you want to call him by, he's going to let you know what he's thinking.
I mean, people are so excited for this because, no one wanted to see Dean unhappy in WWE. So to see him kind of break out of this prison and start a new wrestling career, pretty much, people are so excited, and I think that's why they're overanalyzing so many aspects of this video.
According to Wrestling Observer newsletter, Ambrose already has bookings lined up with multiple promotions and is expected to begin working under Jon Moxley in June. A lot of people have thought that he would sign with AEW or even New Japan Pro Wrestling, but we're just going to have to strap in our seatbelts and kind of go along with the ride. It's going to be an interesting one. Dean Ambrose is one hell of a competitor, and Jon Moxley is twice that competitor. He's rugged. You thought Dean Ambrose was rugged. Jon Moxley is rugged, okay? You saw the video. Barbed wire on his hands, blood.
Blood everywhere.
Yes. I'm here for it.
Another thing that I'm not here for, potentially could get better, but it is the Saudi Arabia event.
Nope, that's not getting better. Go ahead.
Women can't compete in this event, and that makes me so mad that WWE would still have this match, even though the women who they are giving so many opportunities to, they won't bring them to Saudi Arabia because Saudi Arabia has a law against it. I know a lot of women are stepping up and being like, oh, I hope that, Saudi Arabia will change their laws, and they did kind of talk about changing their laws, but I don't see it happening, and I am so mad that WWE would still go through with this pretty much sexist event.
I agree with you 100% about the women being involved in the Saudi Arabia events that WWE still has a contract for, and they haven't broken. And with the climate in Saudi Arabia, everyone was really unsure of the last event that they had with Crown Jewel. I don't look forward to these Saudi Arabia shows. I saw earlier this week that Goldberg is returning for it. They're rising The Undertaker for the 56th time for this event, and they're bringing back Brock Lesnar. I think WWE really pushes when it comes to these events. They're like, we're in Saudi Arabia. We have to get everyone that we've ever had in our ring back. Go big or go home, pretty much. They will recruit every superstar that has been a big star. I'm surprised they haven't pulled The Rock by now. That's how much they try for these shows. I wish that they tried as much for Raw and SmackDown every week, but
I mean, there's not women on this event. They need to fill the roster is the thing. But Ringside News did report back in March that women are holding out hope that they'll be able to compete in this.
Well, last year when they didn't compete, they felt bad for the women, and they saw the outcry online about women not being involved, and that's why they did Evolution, because they wanted women to have their time. But now I've been reading that they don't even want to do an Evolution this year.
Well, they didn't do well at promoting Evolution last year.
No, they didn't, because they were more focused on Crown Jewel and getting that shmoney that they didn't even focus on the women. I mean, yeah, it was still a great pay-per-view, but if they would have booked it properly and they would have marketed it better, it would have been a hit. I mean, it was still a hit, that Six Like Grits, but it wasn't what Crown Jewel was. It didn't have at least half of the marketing. They started really promoting Evolution maybe like a week before. They're like, hey, we have a pay-per-view next week. It's all women. You want to watch it? Guess what? It's all women.
They brought all the women out on stage and they were like, look at this amazing event that we're having for women. Yeah, at the same time, they're having this event that no women can compete at, and it's all men. I'm infuriated by this. I think that it's awful. But I guess I'm just going to sip my wine. And
you need a glass? I got you.
Yep, I need to.
Let's get into our question of the week. We asked you guys a question on Twitter at WWDCAST, and it got sentimental this week. The question of the week was, which WWE superstar, past or present, has impacted your life beyond entertainment value, and how? So we're going to tell you guys what we think or who we would choose, and then we're going to go to Twitter and share what our followers and people of the internet had to say. So why don't you kick it off?
The wrestler that has impacted me outside of the ring, I would say, would be Charlotte Flair. And I know I haven't been watching wrestling that long, but she's so amazing. Like we mentioned before, she's not Ric Flair's daughter. She is Charlotte Flair. She stands alone. She can compete with the men, she can compete with the women, and she's amazing at everything. And I think that little girls can look up to her and be impressed with all the work that she's done, how far she's come as a woman wrestler in WWE. And I mean, I look up to her and I dress like her for Halloween. Like, I love Charlotte Flair because of how powerful she is and how she's not going to step down for any man. Lo, which wrestler has impacted you?
My pick for this question would be Nia Jax. She is a plus-size woman in the WWE, and I feel like a lot of people online are so quick to judge when, someone doesn't look a certain way. And they're very quick with their comments to be rude and say spiteful things. And, I can only imagine what her Twitter mentions look like. But she just remains so strong and positive. And she comes out there every week and she represents herself. And she's absolutely beautiful. She's walked in New York Fashion Week. She's done different types of events to promote positivity, no matter your size. And, she had her storyline with Alexa Bliss where they really delved in deeper. And I felt like that was really the first time that WWE really did a storyline like that. It was different. A lot of people could relate to that on a personal level. I think it's great that WWE has her on TV. I think it's great that WWE has a whole variety of women, different skin tones, different ethnicities, different hair colors, different weights, everything, because it gives people, specifically women, someone to look up to, as a young child or, as a teen or as a grown woman. You have someone to relate to. Now we're going to hop on Twitter and see what everyone had to say about this question. The Winter Experience at WYNTER Storm 24 said, "The Shield, because when I was at the height of my mental crisis, they were something I could hold on to so I wouldn't keep trying to kill myself. And now Pero, because he's breaking stereotypes of what it means to be LGBT." Rhonda at HelpMeRhonda311, this one was cute. She said, "My 10-year-old son has always connected with Paige. He follows her be yourself attitude, never gives up, and always perseveres. He's extremely shy to the point of anxiety. Last year, Ryan got over his fear to meet her. She was so genuine and kind. It made him feel truly special." And she put a picture on here.
Oh, that just gave me goosebumps. That's so sweet.
Brad Essex said Dustin Rhodes, because he offered me a ride home as well as chat with me in '98. I have cerebral palsy and he could have ignored me, but he talked to me, and even though I only lived a few blocks away, he gave me a ride home because it was cold out. I thank him for being nice to a guy like me. That's so sweet. I might cry.
I know, these wrestlers are so nice. These are the stories that we never hear.
Hey, Aisha. She changed her display name to America's Ass, so I'm assuming she saw Endgame. She said Jeff Hardy because no matter how many hardships he has faced, he still continues to get himself out of it and stay positive. At TWOODLEY said Alexa Bliss. Her story of overcoming an eating disorder is extremely inspiring, and she's super relatable to me because of that. Mariah May X said Nikki Bella. She's overcome a lot, but something that especially resonated with me was her ability to deal with hate and negative perceptions unfairly put upon her. She continued to keep her head held high and worked hard. That inspires me. #fearless. The Queen of NE said her pick of all time will be Stone Cold Steve Austin for teaching me as a teen to not take from anyone and to be apologetically you. And finally, from at WWE Old School, she said, at Tommy Dreamer gave me the confidence to work on and believe in myself and change my life for the better. He helped me with my depression and made me realize I shouldn't worry about what other peeps think now. I have a wonderful husband and happy little boy whose middle name is Tommy after this great man. And she put a picture. Everyone, honestly, is just making me so emotional. Like, I just think it's so great that these people have had the opportunity to meet these wrestlers that, you know, they've really had a personal connection with and be able to share their story with them. I honestly think I have more tears than wine right now.
I love it when people share stories like this with us because it really shows that these wrestlers aren't just in the ring. They do so much more, and they do impact so many people's lives.
Thank you to everyone that took time this week and really shared their personal stories with us for our question of the week. We'll be sharing another question next Thursday that, of course, we would love to know what you have to think.
Thank you for tuning in to another episode of Wrestling Winedown. As always, you can find us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Play, and you can also find us on Twitter and Instagram at WWDcast. That is at WWDCAST.
You can leave us a review or a rating on Apple Podcasts and let us know what you think of this show. Or you can tweet us and let us know you love wine and you love wrestling, and we will keep it up.
We upload new episodes every Saturday.
Until next time, enjoy your wine and, of course, enjoy your wrestling. Cheers!